From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by
Vitamin Energy.
The vitamins.
The energy.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. Coming up on today's show, Florida State's got their guy, Loucks. He's coming, quote-unquote, home. Our initial thoughts on the hire. Ham goes out on top at home, and Florida State baseball still rolling. Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Shake it, take it, sip the juice. Try out that new Focus Plus potion, everybody. The tropical infusion. Vitamins, nutrients, all in one little bottle. You can take it wherever you go. Take it inside the gym. Leave it in the office drawer. Leave it maybe in the break room. People are like, what's this stuff? Be like, try it. It's the Focus Plus. You're going to love it. And then watch how everybody's productivity in the office skyrockets. This is an award-winning one. Energize up to 7 hours with brain vitamins. Clinically proven ingredients including vitamins B16, B12, citrulloline, potassium, vitamin B3, and green tea extract. There's no sugar, just some green tea extract, some all-natural caffeine. That energy flows all day, steady, perfect. VitaminEnergy.com. Shake it and take it. Sip the juice. Warchant.com. Ultimate Seminole sports source. Shout out to our Jeff Cameron. Breaking news over the before the weekend started with the new hire of the basketball coach. So we're doing more than just entertaining you. We're bringing you infotainment, information, and entertainment. Warchant.com. Perhaps not best exemplified, or rather not better exemplified by anybody else than Corey Scott Clark, also known as just Corey Clark to most of you folks. What's up, Corey Clark?
What's up, Aslan? How are you, buddy?
Good. So I'm coming to you folks from Tampa. Did come out here with my lovely lady, but we're only a few hours removed from getting into a fender bender. We got into an Uber, and our Uber rear-ended somebody at a red light. And my brain feels a little bit weird. My neck feels a little bit weird. But we rubbed some dirt on it. And we're here. We're here to.
How's that work? Do you have to wait for the cops and then stay in that Uber, or do you get a new Uber?
So Abby actually requested the Uber. So we get into the accident, and then we pull over or whatever, and she tries to get us another Uber, but the driver's talking to the people that he hit, trying to get the accident all squared away. So she can't actually request another Uber because it shows that this one is still active. So I opened up my phone, and then I got another Uber. And then by the time we got into that one, I guess the guy, ended the drive or whatever. And it's the Uber's said on her phone, we noticed that you're not going anywhere. Is everything okay? And then 10 minutes later, it's oh, we noticed that you were in an accident. And then she had to hit a couple buttons and put my information in there. So
got money back though, I hope.
Yeah. Well, that was a free. I think
seems like a pretty seamless.
Yeah, they refunded us her fare, and then I think the fare that I used, she gave them my receipt invoice number, so I think they comped us on that one too.
Perfect.
So
it's all working out. It's
all coming together. So yeah, it was good times, man. It looks like it was good times in Tallahassee. So I guess before we talk about Saturday, which ended up being a really awesome moment for Leonard Hamilton, the hoops program. On Friday there was the rumblings that Loucks was going to be the next men's head basketball coach for Florida State. Florida State went ahead and made that announcement official on Sunday afternoon. Where are we right now, Corey? The email drops that they're going to have Luke's going to be at the airport. Come on out, welcome him. I mean, it seems like this hire wasn't simply just we have a spot we need to fill. They went and got a guy with NBA pedigree rather, and they're giving him the full red carpet treatment. Sounds like they're really excited about this hire. I guess we all should be, right? Lots of hope in the horizon now.
Yeah, but I can understand trepidation too. It's a guy that's never been a head coach at any level, and now he's going to be running an ACC basketball program. I don't even have to say ACC, a high major Division I basketball program without any head coaching experience and actually no college coaching experience. So look, the thing with Loucks is, who knows? There's nobody that can predict. Anybody can predict, but there's nobody that can predict with any bit of confidence how this is going to go. He might be really good. He might be out of here in 3 years. I know it was a 5-year deal that they announced, but he could be. I don't think we know the numbers yet.
Right.
But I'm going to guess it's significantly less than what Leonard Hamilton was making. But either way, I like it, don't love it, but I also think that's the natural reaction for anybody, right? Like I'm cautiously optimistic about this. I think it's fresh blood. It's a guy in his 30s. Look, man, they've literally been coached by somebody that was AARP eligible for the last 21 years. Now they've got a guy that's 35 years old or 36 years old, whatever he is. There's going to be some fresh ideas, some young energy, some youthful energy. And again, everybody knows my affection for Leonard, but it was time for a change. He admitted as much on Saturday after the game. And, I guess he admitted as much when he stepped down. But he admitted as much after the game, and we'll get to the game in a second because I think Florida State handled all that really well. But when it comes to Loucks, there's no way to know. He might be the next Brad Stevens. He might be somebody he might be the next Steve Robinson. I just don't know. But I do think it's kind of cool that you have a guy that coached under the former guy or played under the former guy, was here for the biggest achievement they ever had, which was winning the ACC tournament, had 14 assists in that game, hit basically the back-breaking shot in the semifinals that year of the ACC tournament to beat Duke. And he's a Florida kid, and he's a Florida State Seminole, and he graduated from here. His wife graduated from here. It matters to him. Now he's going to have the resources to make them, competitive. But man, I'm talking myself into liking it more and more because I like Luke. I think he's a bright guy, he's a sharp guy, he's a basketball dude. It's just a matter of we have no idea what the roster is going to look like, and we have no idea what kind of resources he's going to have to go build that roster. But if they give it to him, I'm excited to see what he can do. I'm not predicting anything because how could anybody know? You know what I mean? Like, this is the most wild card of all wild cards. There is no history here to know how he'll do. But I have faith that at least he's going to care. In that, people can chuckle at that, but that matters, right? This is not just a job to him. He really does want to see. He's an ACC champion. There's like 25 guys that have played in the history of Florida State basketball that can say that. And there's only 12 that can say they actually went and won the ACC tournament, and he's one of them. It matters to him, man. So I do think that I'm excited about that prospect of it. And like I said, maybe some fresh ideas out on the court too. Get some dudes that can shoot, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it's like any kind of hot take, but like the two things I'm interested in is how did the interview go, and then what does the salary look like? Because I think that might be the biggest kind of smoking gun, if that's probably a poor metaphor to use, but. We saw the other names involved here, guys like CY, Sam Cassell, the guys from Samford, Arkansas State. I don't know how much they were going to possibly command. Will Wade. So this I don't want to call it a budget hire, but maybe that's what made sense. I mean, maybe Luke could be worth more than what he's willing to take on just because he's betting on himself and believing in himself. But I really am curious, and we'll find out more, I think, on Monday, obviously, during his introductory press conference about what his vision is. But I really do wonder how the interview went, because I imagine that as much as money probably was the determining factor between him and the other candidates, because they can do all the vetting they want, but ultimately he had to sell them on a vision. And I am curious to hear exactly what it is, and hopefully he'll share some of that on Monday, because what makes me like the upshot with him, I think, is seeing this game in a way, being around a program like the Golden State Warriors and realizing how they did things so unconventionally. And listen, there's not going to be another Steph Curry they can pluck out of the transfer portal per se. But there's going to be, I just think, some semblance of him embracing analytics, the way the NBA has gone to embracing the three-point shot so much that, he's like, listen, maybe he doesn't need this huge, vast war chest to go get guys out of the portal. There's shooters, right, man? Like, I feel like he's probably giving them a vision of like, listen, we need to go get 3 or 4 shooters. I think this is the way that we can identify guys that bring great value, and we can bring them into our program, get them hitting the ground running from day one. And I'm excited to see what that's going to look like, because I do think, the debate I had between like him and Cassell is like, well, both these guys are removed from playing college basketball, and I think Sam Cassell's name probably rings a little bit louder than Luke. But Luke probably right now is so much more connected with, just getting personnel, evaluating guys, and getting them on campus. It was opposed to where I think Cassell might be more of a kind of a big picture outlook, creating a culture, creating a program. I think Luke is going to focus on getting players day one and probably knows how to go about finding those guys best.
Well, and I do think that he's going to be certainly cheaper than what Leonard was saying. I think Leonard was making like 2.2. I would guess, this is just me, I have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised if Luke is making half that.
Yeah.
I mean, he it's not like he had a lot of leverage to negotiate a big-time contract. Like, you're getting your, essentially one of your dream jobs. Maybe your dream job to be the head coach when you've never been a head coach. You'll probably do it for $1 million. And then the money there that's saved maybe gets you a nice starting backcourt. In the long game, again, I know it's weird to talk about this when it comes to college athletics, but let's say there's a treasure chest and there's $5.5 million, $7 million, whatever it is total, to pay everything within the basketball program per year. Well, you don't want to be a guy that takes $2.5 million a year and then you only have $4.5 million for the rest of the staff and your players. You've got to get players, and so taking less to have a better roster is a smart play in the long term.
Yep.
And especially while you can do it, for however how long you can do it, when there's no real salary cap to this, it makes sense to do it. I think it's a nice. It's weird, man, because Florida State really doesn't have a lot to lose in this instance.
Absolutely
it's not a basketball school. Clearly, that's the second. The way baseball's drawing so far this year, and I'm sure they'll have an enormous crowd on Tuesday night for the Florida game. It might be the third most important sport on campus as far as, not revenue. I think still basketball brings in more money, but crowds, I would guess that it's close. Fan interest is close between baseball and basketball right now, but it's the second/third sport on campus. So you have a little leeway to see if this works out. It is not dire that you get the program back to like an perennial NCAA tournament team. So you've gotten a guy that might get you there. Give him 3 years. Give him 3 years is what I would say would be fair. See if he's the guy. And if not, you just reset as you're probably leaving the ACC and joining a conference and getting a lot more money, perhaps. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in the meantime, while you're in the ACC, go get a guy that played in the ACC, that won the ACC, see what he's got, see if he's got the bona fides to be a legitimate, really good D1 head coach. Like I said, he might be one of the best coaches in America. He might be Dan Hurley. No idea. None. How could anyone? He's never been the guy standing up while the game is going on. He's never been the guy complaining to the refs. He's never been the guy in charge of playing time.
Drawing up the play during the timeout
But he might have been doing some of that or had suggestions, and obviously he does film study. He does a lot of stuff in practice at the NBA level. But yeah, this is all brand new for him, and he might be a savant at it. He might be unbelievable. My point is, it's worth the risk.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's worth the risk for Florida State basketball in 2025, 2026. It just is. Moving forward, coming off what you've come off, try to get your feet under you, see what you've got. You might have a wonderkind here, whatever we call them. It's a German word. It means a really good younger person at running your basketball program. And like I said, I keep coming back to the fact that he is a Nole. And that matters. Just like think about Link, man.
Yeah.
You can't, and I know Link is built a weird, different kind of way anyway, but you can't tell me it matters a little more to him than it does whoever's coaching Alabama right now. That's not, maybe he's an Alabama grad, but you can tell how much this place means to Link Jarrett. He grew up in it. He was an All-American here. He played 4 years here. So did Luke Loucks, man. Luke Loucks was a Florida State Seminole for 4 years. They went to the tournament all 4 years. They made a Sweet 16. They won the ACC championship. He makes the pass to Snare that beats Duke at Duke. Like, all that stuff is in him. It's in his DNA now. That's who he is. So that I like the fact that even if it's just 1 or 2% more, he's going to give you all he can, you think. That's the hope anyway, because this place matters to him. To Will Wade, might be a great coach, might not. This place is a stepping stone. It just is.
Yeah.
Sam Cassell's been away from here for 32 years. I just think it's a little bit different. I I like the hire. It's not quite Jay Wright, but
No,
you're probably
so
not
close.
You're not fishing in that lake anyway, right?
No.
You're not fishing in that lake. I'm really excited because, like I said, I just keep coming back to this. It's the unknown. We literally, I have no idea. I have no idea what kind of offense they're going to run. Have no idea what kind of players he wants. We have no idea. It is a brand new start with a brand new guy. I'm excited about it. Part of that is just because it was a long time of Leonard, and anything different and new would be exciting. But part of that is because I think this guy, I know this guy really cares about this program and wants to see it back in the NCAA tournament, wants to see it back competing for ACC championships. Don't know if he'll get them there, but I like the fact that his mindset is pure. He's here to get Florida State good again.
That's right. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, cptallybar.com, the website. Trivia Tuesday, bingo Thursday, and then Friday night, Woody Harvey, 6 to 9 p.m. So get there early, get your happy hour started, and then coast on into your weekend with Woody Harvey. I don't want to call it the soft sounds of Woody Harvey. I think Woody can grind that axe. I think he shreds those strings, right? I mean, there's no way Bill's bringing somebody out there who's going to have just some soft, easy listening like Lawrence Welk.
Well, it
That's
is
not
happy
Bill's.
hour, though, so I don't think you're really getting after it as much as you would if you were playing from the 8 to 11 shift. I think that's more of a loud, live music. This is kind of a – but, yeah, I'm sure he puts on a great show. I don't know Woody Harvey, don't know him, but neither do you. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you don't, go see what he's all about. Go see what he's all about, gang.
His Twitter profile says, "Hi, I'm Woody. I work at," and it's apparently, I think it's a governmental agency. "I play music and go Noles."
Okay, so he's a Nole. What else do you need? Go support a Nole. Go
Sounds
support a Nole that plays music.
Sounds like a solid dude to me. Check it out over the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Friday night, 6 to 9 p.m. Daily lunch specials, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Only $8.99. Also comes with a side dish of your choice. Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. We are back. It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Shake it and take it. I was trying to find the press release for when, like, Bill Self got hired at Kansas in 2003, but I was unable to find it because I thought it was interesting that President Richard McCullough, a.k.a. Rick McCullough, had a quote attached in the press release about Luke's hiring. I'm like, do most presidents chime in on when they make hires? But President McCullough also had nice things to say when Link got hired, too. So maybe that's part and parcel of how we're rolling now as an athletic program. But, yeah, it was just cool to see, like, the president had a quote in the press release. You know, they did the whole welcome Luke at the airport thing. I don't think we did that for Link. I know we didn't even do it for Norvell. I actually waited at the Bowden statue because I think we had somebody stationed out front the Unconquered statue because that's where Willie was unleashed upon Seminole Nation. So I was like, oh, I'll just wait here just in case. And, like, yeah, they came up like in a, an armada of cars. Not an armada. What do we call an armada of cars? Like a
caravan?
Caravan. There we go. Thank you, Corey Clark.
Yeah.
Which, by this is what I was going to tell you. That I don't want you to make a lot of good points today because I can't really nod my head because it hurts. But thank you for the assist on that, and I appreciate it.
Sounds like you might own Uber in a couple months.
You know what? I think that's we'll see. We'll shoot for the moon, see if we land amongst the stars or whatever. But yeah, just I think there's a level of excitement to the hire here. I mean, again, to your point about maybe with the way the pecking order is right now, with how Lynx seems to have this program on really solid footing. Obviously, football is always going to be number one at Florida State. Basketball could kind of be seen as like a forgotten or less than sport when it comes to the major ones on campus. But I really think they're trying to make this as splashy as possible with the welcome. What Monday's going to look like? It's going to be live telecast on ESPN. I wish they would maybe wait a few more days because it is spring break. Obviously, I can't be there either, which is a little bit of a selfish sort of reason for it. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think Michael Alford clearly is not trying to frame this, market this as a hire that's, not a big splashy sort of thing. But they seemingly are doing everything they can to make it seem like, this hire was a very important thing for the university, and they think they got the best guy suited for the job. But then time will tell, though, obviously, as you said, Corey.
Well, I mean, it would be weird if they didn't.
I know, but they didn't do this stuff for Link. Link, Jared's coming off taking Notre Dame to the College World Series.
I think the difference is, look, man, college basketball is more important than baseball revenue-wise. It gets more eyeballs than college baseball revenue-wise. I know the audience that we talk to is a big baseball crowd, but typically, But also, Link was replacing a guy that was there for 2 years.
True.
This guy's replacing Luke's replacing a guy that was there for 23. And is one of the kind of the legends of the fourth winningest coach in ACC history, which is it's incredible.
Yeah.
So I think that's the difference too. That it wasn't. If we're comparing those two, it would be that reason. But also, like, you got to. I like that they announced it. I think maybe it was sped up a little bit. I think maybe they wanted to wait until Leonard's career was officially done. Maybe. But then it started leaking on Friday, thanks to the great Jeff Cameron, by the way.
Yeah, man.
But the news got out, so then I liked that at that point they're like, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Let's make the hire. They didn't do it on Saturday. Luke was not in attendance, which was smart. You didn't need to overshadow that day and that moment for Leonard by having the new coach there. But then also announce it on Sunday, have the press conference today. Now you have, and then we wait and see when their season is over. But Luke can hit the ground running. Give him the leeway, the runway to get going as soon as possible. So whether you need to act like it's. I would hope Presbyterian, when they hire a new basketball coach, tries to make it a big deal and has quotes from the AD and the president or whoever, and then has the press conference and sounds the trumpets. But yeah, it's one day. We'll get to talk to Luke later today at 11 a.m. And then he's working. I am interested if he'll even go to Charlotte to watch that game. Will he be in attendance? I would doubt it because he doesn't want to be looming over Leonard. But, I would hope, on that plane ride on Sunday, really the last couple of weeks when he knew he had a real possibility, the last week for sure, he knows who on this roster he wants to keep. He's got an idea, okay, that guy, that guy, absolutely. Let's see if he wants. You know what I mean? These aren't his guys, and this is a business now. So you go into that locker room. You don't want to be Dion and just say, I got Gucci coming with me or whatever he says. A lot of y'all are baggage. But you need to let these guys know as soon as their season is over. And maybe it won't be over for 3 weeks, Aslan.
Yeah, man.
Maybe Leonard's right. Maybe they're about to go on a magical run. And then maybe Leonard just says, you know what? I don't want to leave. We just won the national championship. But you when this season is over, you meet with these guys individually and tell them exactly what you think of their future, if it's with you or not. This is all stuff that has to happen very quickly because the portal, I believe, is either open now or opening very, very soon. And that's where the majority of his team is for next year is going to come from, is the portal. I don't know he has a ton of building blocks on this team. You know what I mean? Yeah. Ewan's going to be an interesting case. Me and a person whose opinion I respect quite a bit, that person thinks that Luke would be better off not bringing Ewan back or even asking him to come back.
Wow.
I think Ewan, because of it's just you don't know how some stuff affects a team. When your best player maybe doesn't always seem to try the hardest, and always can have moments where he just the body language can be kind of soul-sucking. I get all that, but then you see what he does, especially on Saturday. Some of the moves he made a move. He's dribbling the ball up court. Remember, guys, he's like 6'10", 6'11". He's dribbling the ball up the court. One of the SMU guards goes for a steal. He dribbles behind his back, left hand, power dribble in the lane, and then finger rolls it in from 4 feet. He's 7 feet. He finished with 26, all a variety around the rim, is the best passer they have. If you could surround him with some players and also some dogs, some guys that maybe won't let him take a play off or a night off or a half off or a practice off and challenge him, he has the ability to be one of the best players in the United States. He just does. But, it's also your first team, and you need leadership. And so anyway, the point being, that's a huge decision to make. Also, Malik might, that he might get offered a ton of money from another school.
I think that's
you can't compete with it. The guy averaged 14 and 8. I think he led the ACC in field goal percentage in his first year, despite missing a few games and not being healthy for some and missing others with foul trouble. He's just such a uniquely gifted offensive player. But all this is stuff that Luke has to figure out quickly. He's a guy you could build around, or he's a guy you might not want on your team. That's all for Luke to decide, or he might just be somebody that another team wants, and you can't compete with it. But it all starts today. Like today, right now, it's your remember remember Norvell? Like, he was calling Lawrence Toafili like on his way to his press conference.
Right.
Like, it starts now, man. You've got to be competitive. You want to be competitive your first year. You need to re-recruit your roster, but it's about guys you want. And Taylor Bowen, you probably want, but you'd like him to maybe take an enormous step. Daquan Davis, who didn't play on Saturday, and we didn't even ask why because it was all the other stuff going on. I think he's somebody you'd probably want to build around, or at least keep. Malik Ewan, maybe. In my opinion, probably, just because I think he's so uniquely gifted. Yeah. And if you could surround him with some shooters, he could lead the ACC in assists. But that's all that's on the table right now for Luke Loucks. And so it all starts really now, but especially on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday, whenever this team gets back from Charlotte, he needs to sit down and meet with that team and figure out who's staying, who's going.
Transfer portal, by the way, according to the internet, opens March 24th, closes Tuesday, April 22nd.
Okay, so he'll have a month. But I think people are already starting to put their names in, or like announcing that they're going to hit the portal. But yeah, okay, so he's got 2 weeks to get two weeks to really get his ducks in a row and figure out exactly what he's looking for. No. I would prefer some shooting.
That would not be a bad idea at all. To your point earlier, Corey, just about this is obviously a job that means a lot to Luke. The quote in the release from Leonard says, "I'm very proud to see Luke return as head coach of a program he helped elevate to such great heights. Luke and Stevie embody what it means to be a Seminole. Wearing the garden and gold isn't just part of their past, it's part of who they are. They are family, and it's special to have a Florida State basketball coach who truly understands that." And shout out to the team for rallying on Saturday. I don't know if rallying's the right word, but just going out there and playing a complete game. Looked like, Corey, you were out there at the Tucker Center, so you can paint a better picture of it. But 76-69 win over SMU. It was really cool to see Leonard giving the microphone after the game and talking to the crowd about what it's meant to be the head coach of this program for so long. Obviously, let's hope for some crazy magic stuff to happen in Charlotte. Florida State opens up against Syracuse, 7 o'clock on Tuesday. But at least for one day, this guy got everything that he's deserved and earned as the head coach of this program with a good win and a crowd that seemed to be very appreciative of what he's been able to do the last 3 years.
It was a bummer that it happened when it did because the students weren't there. But I thought the crowd was great. There were no students there, so the end zones were basically empty. But around half court, I thought it was. I just thought it felt like you could feel an energy, a different kind of energy in that building, and I think the kids fed off it. I thought they'd be more. I thought there could be some nerves because there's a lot of pressure to go try to win your coach's last game. But I think the energy of the crowd, it was. I don't know. I'd guess it was like 7,000. But the energy of it really helped. I mean, there were people there, and everybody was very appreciative of Leonard. He got multiple standing ovations. And the crowd helped, and I just thought it was fitting because they did play hard, man. I thought that was that's probably their best win of the year. Maybe the road win at Wake, but that was such a fluke. I thought from start to finish that was because SMU's a good team. They're not going to make the tournament now. That was a crushing loss for them. But they're a good team. They're a 22-win team, and Florida State, I thought, played harder than them, were more physical than them, were tougher than them. And Malik Ewan just had an incredible game. They had absolutely no answers for that kid. And that was fitting of a guy who won so many games with energy, intensity, and defense. And their defense, I think SMU shot under 40%, that's old school Leonard, man. That's not this team. This team hasn't been able to do that really against anyone consistently. But for that day on Saturday, they flew around. They were in passing lanes. They got deflections. They forced tough shots. They got rebounds on both ends of the court. It was a Leonard Hamilton tribute, which was cool. I just thought that was really fitting. It was cool that he got to win his last game at the Tucker Center. They didn't honor. Obviously they didn't name the court after him or anything. They didn't even hang up anything in the rafters like Sue got. So that was surprising. And, look, I thought once it started, this is the Corey complaint section for just a second. once it started, I thought the ceremony was really nice. They had the players out there that all came back, along with the current players, staff members, old and current. And then they had a video tribute. Leonard talked to the crowd. He was asked a couple questions by Colhane. I thought all that was really well done. They played a really well done video tribute to Leonard too, which was neat and really well done. I don't know if they've released that on Twitter or online or anything, but I'd encourage people to go watch it if they weren't at the game. But of course, like the game ends, everybody's on the court standing around. All the people, the fans are there because they've been told wait around for a ceremony that's coming up after the game. And then Leonard goes and does a TV interview that nobody can hear for 10 minutes. So there's a lot of standing around as he's talking to Aria, who always does a good job, and I think it's Eric Devendorf, the old Syracuse guard, were the two announcers that he was talking to. But it wasn't even on TV. He was doing it for I think the ACC network later. But it's like, man, dude, you probably had 4,000 people there that were there to hear Leonard talk, and you made them wait 12 minutes so he could talk to how many hundreds of people that are watching the ACC network or ACC network extra after the game. So that bothered me a great deal. Like, take care of the people that are there. Let them hear from Leonard. Just film that. Just film Leonard, and if you want to play something on the ACC network, play his speech that he told the crowd. Not make people stand around and wait for 10 minutes, wondering if anything's going to happen at all. But then he left the court, but he went to go get his wife Claudette, and then they walked out together through a tunnel of former and current players.
Hell yeah!
And he went and sat down with Colhane in the middle of the court and answered questions. So, and all that was really well done. It was a little bit hiccupy there. But what are you going to do? Yeah. What are you going to do? It's just me. It's Clark complaining. It was the Clark complaint corner. I got that out of the way. Also one other thing. If anybody was at that game on Saturday, you know how they do the free throw shooting contest, Aslan? Like if you make 10 in a row, I don't know, you want a Papa John's medium piece. I don't know. I don't pay attention to what the prizes are. But they get college kids out there to shoot free throws. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you think if you signed up to compete in a contest to shoot free throws in front of 7,000 or 8,000 people, you would at least have some confidence that you could do it?
Or practice a little bit beforehand, you're saying, kind of?
Or know that this isn't your thing. You might be really talented at something else athletically, certainly talented at something else in your life, but why would you agree to go out and shoot free throws in front of 7,000 or 8,000 people when you – I'm not talking about just missing shots. Anyway, if you guys were at this game and watched that, you know what I'm talking about. It was crazy. I don't understand the mindset to go out there and do that. It would be like me agreeing to go to a motocross and get on a motorcycle and jump over one of those hills for a free pizza. It would be insanity. I've never done that in my life. I would never do that. I would never subject myself to that. But hey, people are built different, Aslan.
That's
or
right.
maybe it was done as a prank, or it was like a fraternity hazing. I don't know, but it was something to see.
56-19, the announced attendance, by the way, for Saturday's game. So.
Okay, that seems a little low. I'll be honest with you, Aslan. It seems a little low. I wonder if they didn't count the players. Oh, I also thought it was cool that I saw Solomon Allaby, John Kreft, and Derwin Kitchen were all there wearing their jerseys.
Oh, nice.
I thought that was pretty neat. I saw Chris Singleton, Ryan Reed, Xavier Gibson. Those were just a few of the ones I saw. But now the question becomes, Aslan, as we finish up with basketball, what is he going to do for his staff? Who's he going to keep? I know Dulkes is probably his best friend. I think Dulkes was with him with the Kings, but I know they've worked together at the NBA level. I know they did work with the Kings. I don't know if David Dulkes is still there working with the Kings, but does he bring him with him? Does he keep anyone from the current staff? Does he want to keep somebody like Stan Jones, who helped recruit him, whatever that was, 16 years ago, and does he keep anybody else from the staff, or does he bring it? Does he already have an idea of who he wants to bring in? And it's four different guys, and I don't know. That's all stuff that we'll find out, and I'm sure we'll ask him later on today. But I think that's going to be a really interesting decision too, is who he decides to bring in.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know about Stan, because I would think that he's going to kind of be his own offensive coordinator, if you will, Luke. Right? I think isn't that Stan's kind of bag, offensive basketball. So I don't know who on the staff is considered like the defensive coordinator, but maybe he would keep that guy around. But Yeah, I guess we'll see, obviously, about who he plans on rounding out his staff.
Typically, and I said this last week, you don't when a staff is basically fired, which is what this was, you don't usually keep anyone from that staff. You bring in a whole new staff because they weren't getting it done. Clearly, they weren't getting it done. Leonard would be returning next year, and they'd just be playing for an NCAA tournament seed right now, going to Charlotte. So usually, you just bring in you bring in nothing but new people. That staff, when the head coach gets fired, which again is pretty much what happened here, retired, stepped down, resigned, whatever. That's what happened. Leonard was told not to come back. He agreed to it. Usually the whole staff goes with him. This is different just because Luke has never done this before. Luke is so he might feel a little more comfort with someone like Stan or somebody else from the current staff staying around, at least helping him with the transition. So or he might already have his staff in place.
I would think so, right? I mean, to your point too about not wanting to keep switching 1 through 5, like you got to start from scratch. Like you got to bring in your staff that's going to be like, no, we're gonna play a more traditional standard defense and keep around like the guys that have been coaching with and under Leonard that kind of espouse that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Again, there's more to it than just, there's relationships, there's recruiting bases, there's recruiting context, there's all this other stuff that goes into it. There's than just X's and O's and who you want to keep and who you don't want to keep. It's just, again, it's another layer. It's why he's going to be paid 7 figures. It's another layer of the job is to figure out who you're going to keep because, if he. And this is just me talking. I don't have any inside knowledge. I haven't talked to Luke. I haven't talked to Stan. It's an interest. This doesn't happen a lot where a former player who was coached by Stan Jones, who immensely respects Stan Jones, would then come and tell Stan Jones no thanks. You know what I mean? There's just a different dynamic there. That there are tough decisions that are made. Maybe Stan doesn't want to coach without Leonard. I don't know. I literally have no idea. Maybe Leonard's going to coach somewhere else. I mean, Leonard was kind of floating that out there a little bit on Saturday, and maybe Stan would go with him wherever he coaches next. But it would be interesting. It's an interesting dynamic to keep Stan Jones because, and again, the reason I bring up Stan Jones instead of the other assistant coaches is because Stan's been here the whole time.
Longest tenured assistant in college basketball, Corey.
What? Say that again?
He is the longest tenured assistant in college basketball right now.
Look at him. And his story is the story of him, I'll make this quick.
Or the ACC, I'm sorry, longest tenured assistant in this conference. I apologize.
I feel like who's been an assistant at a school longer than Stan?
No.
Is there one?
I don't know, 23 years,
the NCAA, too. I can't imagine there's somebody that's been at a school longer than him as an assistant coach. But Stan got discovered by Leonard. Stan was coaching, I believe, in Mississippi, like a private school in Mississippi.
Jackson Academy. Yep.
Okay, and they were really good.
Yep.
And he was helping run a camp that Leonard was there, I think, to recruit somebody else. He saw Stan's team coaching, or he saw Stan coaching from afar for a couple of days, met with him in the stands for like 15 or 20 minutes, and then ended up calling him and offering him a job to come be his assistant in Miami like 2 days later. It's an incredible story. Like Stan didn't have any. I mean, he was a very good coach at the prep level in Mississippi, but he didn't have any contacts. He was probably at that time in his late 30s, and probably just thought that's what he was going to do for his whole life. And then he's got the University of Miami head coach saying, "Hey, do you want to come coach in the Big East?" And Stan's like, "I guess I do." And then here we are, probably close to 30 years later. I mean, what a remarkable career for him too. And I will say this about Stan Jones, man. So I paid attention to him a good bit on Saturday because I didn't know if it was his last game either. But he's always been the guy that when they loaded up, when they got all the players to come out, the current and former players to take a big picture at half court, Stan made sure he was in the back, wanted to be in the back. When Leonard was talking, he was off to the side. When everybody was celebrating at the end and meeting on the court, he's in the background. I remember, and the reason I say that is because I remember him being the exact same way at the ACC tournament when they won it in 2012. That's how long I've been doing this, folks. 13 years ago, Stan wanted no part of the celebration. It was for them. It was for Leonard. He stayed off to the side. People that know this basketball program know how vital Stan Jones has been for decades. he has been an enormous part of this basketball program for the great successes it had in some of those years, and he never wanted any of the credit. He never wanted any of the credit. He always referred to Leonard Hamilton as coach, still refers to him as coach. It's sometimes when you have that kind of history with someone, you start calling them by their first name. Nope, he always refers to Leonard Hamilton as coach, and it's just that respect and that the instinct to try to jump out of the limelight a little bit, to jump out of the spotlight and let the players and the head coach receive all of it. Not every assistant is built that way. A lot of assistants want to be noticed and seen so they could get a head job, in 2013 or 2015 or 2010, whatever Stan might have wanted one, 2018. But he was never that guy, and he wasn't that guy on Saturday either. He was off to the side, letting everyone else enjoy the moment, and he was just enjoying it his own way. So I did want to say that because I don't know if Stan will be the coach here anymore, and I've always appreciated that about him.
Incredible ballad right there. Well done, Corey.
Sorry, yeah, there we go. That was a oral column, a verbal column of Stan Jones's tenure at Florida State.
His kids are going to play that like on repeat. Be like, that's my dad. Corey Clark's talking about my dad.
Love you, Stan. Good work, buddy.
This is the part in the show where I tell you people to divert your attention and your economic resources to something. But shout out to everybody over on warchant.com's Tribal Council. Somebody posted a thread, I think our guy SQuinn67, about he likes Ridge wallets. He already had one. And it started off a wellspring, Corey, of other people hopping in the thread and saying, yeah, I too have a Ridge wallet. I too thoroughly like what it's done for my organization and, just the stylish statement that I now get to make. I think our guy, Mark down in Naples, even went ahead and made a purchase, said he went ahead and went to ridge.com/wakeup and took advantage of that up to 40% sale that's going on right now in their once-a-year anniversary sale. So what else? Corey says it's cool. I say it's cool. All the people on the tribal council say it's cool. People that aren't being paid. They're not paid sponsors to say these sort of things. So give it a try for 99 days, risk-free, lifetime warranty. It's just going to feel nice, everybody. Like, even when you only have $3 in that little cash strap of yours on there, you're like, yeah, still feels like I'm a baller. So give it a try. Ridge.com/wakeup. Save up to 40%. And after you're done, hopefully checking out, if you get a little survey saying how you heard about them, which, why would they ask that if you went to ridge.com/wakeup? Surely they'd be like, well, this is coming from that one podcast that talks about Florida State. But
I will say this, even if they don't know that, I will say that I was hanging out with some buddies on Saturday night that both said they were going to get the Ridge wallet after hearing about it.
Nice.
And they already knew about it anyway. But when we started espousing its greatness, Spencer's like, you know what, I'm going to get one of those. I love Ridge wallets, and I'm going to actually go get one. I'm like, yeah, you should. Let them know why you're getting it, but yeah, you should. So yeah, man, it's quality stuff. It's a different, especially for us older folks that have carried wallets most of our lives or money clips. It's the best of both worlds.
Yep.
It's like a money clip, but it's a wallet.
Amen.
It's really, and it's efficient, right, Aslan? It's efficient.
By the way, shout out to our guy Spence. Love you, buddy. Good stuff.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to Spencer's daughter is getting married this next weekend.
Nice.
And that's where I'm going to be. I won't be at the baseball games this next weekend because I'm going down to I don't know where I'm going. Fort Myers maybe for the wedding down there. So that's exciting. Well,
I'll be on the clock as the Noles start conference play. In the meantime, check it out, ridge.com/wakeup. All right, we're back. It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Shake it, take it, everybody. All right, so a bit of an abbreviated weekend on the diamond for Florida State. Only 2 games able to get scheduled and played against Lipscomb. The Noles win 10-1 on Friday night and then 11-5 on Saturday afternoon. The big sort of headline, I guess, would be the fact that Jamie Arnold did not throw on Friday, and the plan was going to be to not throw him at all this weekend. So I guess maybe the fact there's only 2 games might have ended up working in Florida State's favor, but I guess we can go through and talk about some of the standout performances, Corey, but I guess that was the one thing that I remember seeing as I was on the road. I'm like, there's no Jamie Arnold pitching on Friday night. My heart sunk a little bit, but sounded like after the game when you guys spoke to Link, again, just underscores how awesome, organized, on top of everything Link is. This was like of an extreme abundance of caution, I guess, to I don't want to say shut him down, but maybe have him scratch and miss a start.
Yeah, and when you hear shut him down, you think, oh, that's an arm thing. And Link made it apparent right away. He wouldn't tell us what it was. I don't know if the kid was sick, if he bruised his hip, but it was not anything to do, according to Link, with his left arm, which is all anybody should care about. Well, I mean, care about his well-being and his grades and all that. We get it, everyone. But Jamie Arnold's left arm is what we're talking about, and he said it's not an arm injury. It had nothing to do with his arm. It was something else that he wanted to pitch. He could have pitched, but out of an abundance of caution, they weren't going to pitch him. And then he's like, I'm not going to pitch him on Saturday or Sunday because I want to keep him on his normal routine. So he just basically got the week off. It did not matter. It did help that Sunday was rained out, so that Vellini and Mendez still got to pitch. And then you didn't need to bring up, I guess, Crest. I don't know who would have been there.
That would have been interesting.
Pitcher on Sunday, but now that whoever that pitcher would have been on Sunday, well, I don't know. I don't know if you would have maybe whoever you deem your fourth best starting pitcher to be, would you have pitched him on Sunday against Lipscomb or Tuesday against Florida?
Yeah, they probably would have done like Johnny Holstaff, right? Like I could have seen them start like that Mason Martinez guy.
But they're going to do that anyway on Tuesday against Florida. But maybe give yourself a better chance with the starting pitcher on Tuesday. That game matters more than a Sunday game against Lipscomb. It doesn't matter more than a Sunday game against Boston College, which is this week coming up, because that's a conference game. But Lipscomb's not a conference game. It's obviously non-conference. You're probably going to beat them no matter who you throw. So it would have been interesting to see, but we didn't see it. So, but yeah, and then Link said after the game Saturday that Jamie was feeling better. He goes, so I've touched that. He's feeling better than he did yesterday. Everything's a go. We'll be ready to go this weekend. So clearly not that big a deal. Wouldn't give us really an update on what it would give us specifics. But as long as he says it's not, because here's the thing: if it was his left arm, if he had blown out an elbow or something, there's no point in not telling us. He told us last year when Cam Leiter got hurt. He didn't really keep that necessarily a secret. So if it was something really concerning, there'd be no reason not to tell us. And I really do think it's just something. It's obviously something minor, and it's not Link being coy. He expects, and we all expect, Jamie Arnold to pitch Friday when they face Boston College, who, by the way, beat Virginia at Virginia 2 out of 3 this weekend. Virginia's like number 9 in the country, so Boston College isn't a pushover.
All right. Well, as we sit here and talk, I mean, I think Alabama is still playing the final game of their set against Presbyterian, but Florida State, one of only 3 undefeated teams left. They'll get Florida midweek, as Corey said, in Tallahassee. Just looking at the box score, obviously was not able to really stay all that connected to the games as much as I would like to this early in the season, as I'd been doing earlier, but I'll be back on it this weekend. Cal Fisher being productive was really good to see, right? 3 for 5 on Friday night, 4 RBIs. And then on Saturday, he followed up with 2 more hits and an RBI, including a home run and a double were his 2 hits. So I don't want to be like, oh, he's the linchpin. He's going to be the Florida State goes as far as Fisher can go. But it just feels like Harrelson's put together a really good early start to the season. Lodi's has been really solid. Obviously, I just feel like Max, for whatever struggles, Max, quote-unquote, struggles he might be going through, just feels like he'll get right at some point. So if Fisher can find things – and Miles Bailey can continue to grow and blossom. Same thing with guys like B.J. Gibson. Like, you have a really complete, long lineup as Link has always strived for and talked about, Corey. Or were you more impressed with, I guess, the takeaway being a guy like Vellini getting 11 punch-outs and going 7 innings for you on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, Vellini was good. Mendez was very good. But, Lipscomb doesn't have the best – I think they were only averaging like 5 runs a game. That's not a very potent offense. But even still, the punch-outs are really impressive. And Mendez has just been – I think Mendez's ERA is like 62 or something. He's been great through 4 starts. Now, again, like we talked about, the competition's about to ramp up significantly. But he's been dominant. He's been as dominant as Arnold. Vellini's been good. Mendez has been dominant. That's a really nice 1-2-3 that you got there on the weekend, it would appear. They're not this good. Like, I don't expect Mendez to have an ERA under 1 in May, or even under 2.
0.89, by the way. 0.89 the ERA.
In the run he gave up on Saturday, he came out in the 6th inning, he hit the first guy, then he gave up a hit, which was only the 4th hit he gave up. He struck out the next guy. Then Ben Barrett essentially wild pitched the guy that was on second home, and that's the earned run that Mendez gave up on Saturday. So that's kind of a bummer. But anyway, he's pitched like 23 innings this year, 21 innings or whatever it is, and he's given up 2 earned runs. That's incredible. That's impressive. That's all-American type stuff. We'll see how much it continues moving forward. But yeah, I mean, I think the starting pitching is going to give you a chance if it's anywhere close to this good. You know the Friday night guy is. If these 2 other guys are anywhere close to this good, then you're going to have a chance to win every series, no matter who you're playing. The offense is still a work in progress. I think the biggest news out of this weekend was that Miles Bailey for that Saturday game was moved up to 5th. He's been hitting 8th most of the season. I think one game he hit 9th. On Friday he had and I think this was more about what the other guys weren't doing. Jackson West doesn't have an extra base hit this year. I think he's got 40 at bats. He doesn't have an extra base hit. He was your 5-hole hitter. Cal Fisher didn't have any home runs until Friday. He was your cleanup hitter. Well, Fisher did have 3 doubles and 2 home runs in 2 games this weekend. And the bomb he hit on Saturday to right field was impressive, man. That was seriously juiced over that screen and right. That's some oppo power.
And a grand slam, right? You have a grand slam on Friday, or is it Saturday?
He did, yeah, the grand slam on Friday. But that one was hit more high than far. It barely snuck out, which is fine. It counts. But the home run he hit on Saturday was just juiced, man. That thing was really hit well. So you have him as your cleanup hitter. You have Max as your 3 hitter. Well, you need more pop in the middle of your lineup. Jackson West just isn't giving you that. So bump him down. Let him be what he should be anyway, which is a get-on-base guy, a contact hitter. Don't put too much pressure on him to be some power hitter where he's not, even though he's bulked up. Let him be your – I mean, he's a great 8 hitter. I don't know that he really gives you what you need as a 5-hole hitter, but Miles Bailey does if he's connecting with the ball. I looked this up, Aslan. I don't know if you saw when I tweeted it. Miles Bailey, I think, is hit – I don't know what he's hitting this year, like 435. But on balls put in play, I did the math, he's hitting 731.
He's 430. He's batting 432.
So when he's putting the bat – because he went 4 for 5 on Saturday, and his 1 out was a strikeout. So when he doesn't strike out, he's getting a hit 73% of the time. Now, he is striking out. That's why his average is 300 points less than that. But, man, when he hits the ball, he hits it so violently and hard that it usually either finds a patch of grass or some cement in a parking lot. And it's really nice that, again, he's about to start he faces Florida pitching and then ACC pitching for the rest of the season. So it's about to be a real welcome to college moment for him. But he's got to have a lot of confidence that and they do too, they move him up to 5th. If he can be this guy – not obviously a 430 hitter, but a guy that can hit you 12 to 15 home runs this year and hit around 3, get on base, draw walks. That's a really nice piece, man. That's a future draft pick in the middle of your lineup to go behind Max, who just look, man. Harrelson's been great, Lodis has been great. Max Williams is just pressing too much, I think. And I don't know if you saw it, but on Friday, he struck out with the bases loaded. This is Max, man. Love him or hate him. And it's a little bit of both for me, honestly. He strikes out with the bases loaded, called 3rd strike, a bad call, not a very good call. It was 0-2 pitch. He had every right to be upset with it. He comes up the next inning, but I think they scored a run. Oh, then Fisher had a grand slam on the next pitch, so they end up scoring all those runs anyway. But then his next at bat, the first pitch is another bad call. It looked like it was low and inside, and it was called a strike by that umpire. The next pitch, he hits into the parking lot, 400 feet to right center, and he knows it's gone when it leaves the bat. So instead of running, he turns around, back towards first base, starts slowly walking to first, staring at the umpire. I don't know if he was saying anything to him, but staring at him.
Yes.
Just a stare down at the umpire. It's crazy he wasn't kicked out. And the umpire, I think, said something to him as he crossed home plate, and then kept looking at him when he did his celebration with the team near the dugout. And Link certainly had some things to say to him in the dugout afterwards. But that's Max Williams, man. He is so intense. That's what I asked Link in a Corey Clark sort of way. I didn't be like, hey, what do you think about Max Williams doing that? But I was like, what's it like to coach that kind of personality? Somebody that hits the ball as hard as he does, which he hits it as hard as anybody in the country, anybody as hard that Link's ever coached, but also is as fiery and as competitive and as I don't know what you want to call it, just a MFer that he's ever coached. And I mean that in the pro term. Like when you talk to a basketball coach and he says he has a player that's an MFer, that is a positive. It is not a pejorative, and that's what I mean when I say that about Max Williams. And he's like, yeah, man, sometimes it can be a bit much. Sometimes you kind of have to rein it in or you want to keep it under control, but he is the most intense player I've ever coached. He takes every at-bat. He's so intense in every at-bat. He takes every pitch personally, and he's very, very emotional. And, yeah, it shows. We all know that. That's not anything new about Max, but I wonder if he, like on that game on Saturday, he hit a couple balls over 100 miles an hour that were caught because that's what he does, man. He has more 100-mile-an-hour outs than anybody in the country. And then the next couple of bats, he was really pressing. He's trying to do too much. I don't know if it's because he thinks he might be a first-round pick. It's his draft year. It's his money year. He's the three-hole hitter now. He doesn't have Tibbs and Cam and Ferrer and Denges behind him. He's the guy, and I think he's putting a little bit too much pressure on himself. But when he just relaxes and is Max Williams and starts hitting the ball to left field and left center field instead of trying to hit everything 140 miles an hour, he's going to be one of the best players in the country. That hasn't even happened yet, right, Aslan?
No.
That hasn't even happened, and they're 15-0.
Yeah. They'll look to go to 16-0 on Tuesday, 6 o'clock, hosting the Florida Gators. So come on out for that one. You don't have to read more about all the students being there. I love you students, but sometimes it's nice to have like a little bit respite from each other. But if you're still in town.
It'll still be a good crowd, though.
Yeah.
I think it'll be still – I got to imagine that'll still be a sold-out crowd,
yeah.
even with the students not in
as you're listening to this, I don't know if the ladies will be taking a nap at a hotel or maybe just touching back down in Tallahassee, but don't have the result of the second game against Oregon, which was played later on Sunday, but they were 2-1 thus far in the weekend. 2 wins over Oregon State. They lost on Friday, shut out 2-0 against the Lady Ducks, Lonnie in the softball program, but oh, golly, they're still – never mind. They're still going to be out there. They're playing Portland State Tuesday, doubleheader on Tuesday. My goodness. Well,
make the most of your time. If you're going to be on the West Coast, go get you 6 games in. Yeah, they beat Oregon State twice. They lost to Oregon the first game. I like the pitching. Holding Oregon to 2 runs is nice because you know the offense won't get shut out much. Kennedy Harp had a good I think she had at least 6 hits in their first 3 games. Beecham hit a home run. The lineup the lineup looked potent on Saturday. I have no idea how they did on Sunday, but yeah, it's good to challenge yourself. Oregon is definitely a challenge. I don't know that Portland State will be, but you never know. And then we got to touch on the women's basketball team that just does what it always does and lost at the ACC. I don't know what their record is, but I can't imagine since I've been in this sort of role as a writer covering Florida State sports, so 2007-ish, 2008. So that's 17 years. God, dog. I bet their record at the ACC tournament in those 17 years, I know it's 17. No, they didn't play it one year. They might have played it that year, actually. I know they've lost 17 times. I would guess they've won 8 games. I bet they're 7-17 or 8-17 since I've been cut. They never do well there, ever. No matter who's the coach, no matter who the players are, it just never works out. They play. Tanaya Latson was not good again in that loss to North Carolina. She has not looked really, honestly, good at all since she came back from whatever injury she had. So hopefully, the reason I brought all that up is the ACC, the women's tournament is a little different where they don't go straight from, hey, you just won an ACC championship. Now you find out where you play, who you play, and get ready to start the NCAA tournament that starts 3 days later. They get like a week and a half off. So hopefully these 12 or 14 days, Florida State's probably going to be a 6 seed. There's no way they're going to be a 4 and get to host after losing to North Carolina. But they will get to play an 11 seed, hopefully in that first game, in a 3 seed if they win that. A healthy Tanaya Latson, who's had almost 2 weeks off to recover from whatever was ailing her, could be the reason they get back to the Sweet 16. Should be the reason they get back to the Sweet 16. So maybe it's a blessing that they lost that first game. Give her another day or two to rest.
All right. Well said.
I did it. I think we covered it all, buddy. I think we covered it all.
That's how we roll, everybody. All right. Don't forget, Loucks will be introduced officially at 11 a.m. That press conference should be aired live on ACC Network, but we'll have the video replay of it posted up on Warchant TV. That's our YouTube channel. We'll have live updates as things are happening over on warchant.com, Twitter feed, things of that nature. We already have stuff up on the website from his arrival at Millionaire the private airport there in Tallahassee. So check that out.
By
Jeff
the way,
Kim.
So he was flown in on that. They went and got him, I guess, from California. Was he in California? They went and got him on that thing?
I would think
but
so.
But then they brought him and his family back. He recorded a cute video with his kids on the plane, on the flight to Tallahassee. But that's a pretty small plane, and it was pretty rough weather in Tallahassee, man.
Yeah.
All day on Sunday. Yeah. I can't imagine. I'd be like, nope, I'm taking a train. I mean, I can't imagine being in like a 10-seat plane. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly right. I'll fly commercial. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. I'll fly commercial. To be in a 10-seat plane in that kind of weather. And if the people living in Tallahassee listen to this, it was gross all day. It was gray and dreary and stormy all day. And imagine being in a small plane landing in that. Yikes.
Yeah.
But hey, I don't get to fly private, so what does it matter?
He made it. He's safe.
He did.
Onward and upward now. Jeff Cameron Show, 1 to 4 o'clock, warchant.com, all the time, every time. Thanks for listening, everybody. He's Corey Amazon. We'll talk to you later on this week. Maybe we'll even drop a show tomorrow, maybe with some reaction thoughts to Luke's hire, or at least his comments. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe. It'll get dropped right into your phone or device, and you don't have to worry about searching and finding this show. Thanks again for listening. He's Corey Amazon. It's been Wake Up Warchant, presented by Vitamin Energy, vitaminenergy.com. Shake it, take it.